dream is to be world champion in the UFC, have more money than I know what to do with. But you will see me on the UFC in the near future, without a doubt. Words can't even describe, but it will happen, and I'll let you know when it happens.
Welcome to the Mindset by Design podcast with your host, the expert Andy Murphy, where you will learn the tips, tricks, and strategies he teaches his world-class clients to give you the skills to dominate any business.
What's going on, Mindset by Design crew, and welcome to episode 312. Hope you're amazing as always, hope you are, and life is treating you beautiful. Here we are in 312 episodes. Pretty amazing. And speaking of pretty amazing, I know you are, and I know life will be, and especially after today's episode. Whether you hate Conor McGregor, you love Conor McGregor, it doesn't really matter. You got to take your emotion out of this, because we're talking about if this was Michael Jordan or somebody else. I ain't comparing Conor to Michael Jordan, but what it means is that we've got to look at modeling. And what does modeling mean? Modeling means taking the emotion out and looking at the psychological strategy that allowed someone to achieve something, whether it's a good result, bad result, or it's a result you want, or it's a result you don't want. When we can model that strategy, what it means is we can repeat it or we can delete it. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? So whether you hate Conor, love Conor, doesn't really matter. This is an episode I've actually put out a few times, and I still really love it. I still really love it for a few different reasons. It shows a journey. And that's what you've got to realize about life, crew. It's a journey. And with every journey, guess what? It's never smooth. It's never smooth. It goes up and down, things go wrong, things go right. But it's about, are we moving forwards in the destination that we know we truly supposed to? That's really it, right? And when we can do that, then guess what? The neurology builds, the patterns build, the chemicals adjust, and you start to evolve into a version of you that you always knew you were deep inside. Do you know that version of you that when you look at the future in your mind's eye and you can see this badass version of you, that version, it's real, right? You just haven't caught up to that yet. You're still dealing with weights from the past. You're still expanding past certain boundaries. We're still adjusting and evolving. And at the end of the day, that's a journey, right? If we were trying to get to LA to New York, or New York to LA, or I don't know why I use those, but something like that. If we were trying to do that, do you think that drive or walk or whatever it is going to be perfect? Well, probably not, right? Probably not. But by the time we got there, have we had a massive experience? Yes. Have we grown? Yes. Have we really become a different version of us? Probably. And that's what life is really, truly about. And having looked in the minds and the brains and fine-tuned thousands and thousands and thousands of people at this, I mean, we're talking like probably close to 10,000 people personally. We've done nearly 2 million downloads on the podcast. I've spoken all over the world. I've worked with Fortune 500 people, Saudi Arabian royalty, world champion athletes, people doing IPOs, mergers, and people doing startups, just getting an idea out into the world, trauma victims, abuse victims, everything else you can imagine. And at the end of the day, it's really about how the brain is wired, how your nervous system is set, and how you respond to life, right? And that responsive of life, there's so many tools. There's so many tools that you can use. And the sad thing about this in the world right now is that there's so many coaches in the world that are just marketers. They really are. 19 years I've been doing this. I've seen it all. And the truth is, people are just marketers these days. They're not true level coaches. They're not true level mentors. They're not deep into psychological and behavioral change. They don't really understand it. They say the words, but they don't really create that. And it breaks my heart, right? So when we look at people like Conor, there's a journey, and that's the people we will try and replicate. So what today's episode is about is I put loads of clips in, I give my 2 cents worth, and again, we go on a journey together. So by the end of this episode, you're going to be thinking, feeling, and acting in a very different way. You're going to be pumped up, you're going to be inspired and ready to take action. You are. I know you are. This is one of my favorite episodes I've ever done, and it's one of the biggest episodes that I've had feedback-wise, and I know you're gonna love it. Sound good? Awesome. Speaking of sounding good, I want you right now to do something different. And I mean this. And I want to talk to you if you're at a place in your life right now that you're hitting a boundary, a ceiling. And you're probably successful already, because that's who generally I work with, right? So you're probably successful already, but you know that there's something inside of you that, well, what now? There's more, right? There's more. There's more to life. There's more that to hit that next stage. Maybe you're looking for that fire that you once had that got you to where you are right now, and you want to do the next stage in your life, but you need clarity. You need expansion, right? And guess what? That's what I'm here for. That's what I do. And I want to do it for you too, because it doesn't matter if you're earning 100 grand or you're earning $10 million a year, right? I can help you hit that next level of life, business, success, happiness. Because at the end of the day, like this journey we're going to go on today with Conor, or the journey you're going to go on with me, it's the journey of your life. And we want to make sure that we're giving it everything we've got and we're hitting the new levels of success. And at the end of the day, that level of success might just be total clarity so you can be a philanthropist. It could be that you just want to get this startup out and you've just been beating yourself up, right? Maybe you're holding on to patterns that, well, just don't serve you anymore. Maybe your belief system needs to be adjusted. The neurology, your brain pattern needs to see a different way. Maybe you're holding on to a mistake that you made in the past around a business partner, or something got stolen off you. That's happened to me, right? And maybe you are just looking how to hit that next level, whether it's frequency, whether it's neurology, whether we're talking quantum physics, whether we're deep down and dirty into just behavioral psychology. It doesn't really matter. If the decisions to be made, if you're hitting a ceiling and a boundary and you're ready to expand into a whole new world, well, I'm one of the best at that. And I want to help you understand what I've done for all of these type of high-level clients, and I want to show you these tactics and strategies that generally most people don't use. They don't understand it, right? And it only comes from experience. Experience of seeing so many people, sure. But experience of creating rapid results, sure. But experience of being and putting myself in situations that you should never put yourself in. You shouldn't, you know what I mean? I was putting top performer in 2 different countries in investment real estate. I was putting together a $100 million resort at 26, 27. Went through bankruptcy, nervous breakdown. My business partner stole all my money at the time. He's not my business partner anymore, surprise, surprise. And rebuilt to be one of the top in the world for what I do. Been spoken all over the world, been on all the top podcasts in the world. It's life goes on, right? And I just want to share with you this wisdom experience, because there's so much more that we're dealing with than the conscious, unconscious mind. We're so much more than we're dealing with this 3-dimensional world. We're talking about frequency. We're talking about, yes, brain chemicals. We're talking about patterns. We're talking about all of those things. But what it's really about is you unlocking pure potentiality. It's about you developing who you really are in the future and bringing them in to who you are today, so we can rapidly speed up and increase all areas of your life and business. So if you want to hit $1 million and you're on 500 grand, let's chat. If you're on 200 grand and you want to hit 8 figures, let's chat. If you want to see what the next stage is because you're on millions and millions of dollars a year, then let's chat. Either way, let's chat. And I've got a different program. You might have heard the previous episodes, which with Dean, and it's the expansion project. That's cool. You want to work with me personally? That's cool too. But either way, let's do this. Let's hit that next level. Let's take that action. Let's do something different today. So how can you connect with me? Well, simply hit the show notes. In the show notes, you can have some links. But if you're listening to this, you can go to andymurphy.biz, hit the mentor button, apply, and let's just have a chat. If it was for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. But either way, we leave as friends. If you're listening to this a little bit later on, then you might want to find it on andymurphy.online. We're changing that website over right now, so it's andymurphy.online. So either way, click that mentor, click the coaching, have a chat with me. I bring on like a client a month because I'm also building a finance project, also building an investment vehicle, also building the expansion project, which is going to be really based through LinkedIn and private networks. So if all that sounds good, then let's have a chat. This is a fun episode today. Remember, hit those show notes. Find out where you're connecting with me, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether we're hitting me in the Facebook group, which is just Andy Murphy Mindset, which is, you can find Andy Murphy Mindset everywhere on all platforms. But if this sounds good to you, let's have a chat. Let's do this. And speaking of doing this, hit those show notes up and let's do this episode. I know you're going to love it. I really do. And just think about as you're going through this, how you would apply this in your own life, in your own journey. That's really what I want you to take away from this. Because with all Mindset by Design, I want you to treat this more like a library, right? Because this isn't a normal episode, normal podcast. There are so much value in each episode, and we've got 312 now, that there's so much value in each episode. I've had clients, or before they become clients, actually pull episodes together and create their own sessions because of the information, right? And you can do the same. And if you're new to Mindset by Design, then welcome. Always awesome to have a new listener. What we're here on about Mindset by Design is about building new behaviors, new ways of thinking, feeling, acting, using your conscious, unconscious mind, behavioral psychology, NLP, which are my world-class experts in. We're dealing with the universe. We're dealing with metaphysics. We're dealing with anything that creates true high-level change. And I want to do that for you too. So, shall I shut up and should we jump into this episode? I thought you might say that. Okay, crew, I will see you at the end of the show. Enjoy. Okay. Let's settle down, crew. Let's take a big deep breath and it's just me and you having a little chat. It's just me, you and having a little chat. For some people out there, they're going to be going, what are you talking about? Who the hell is Conor McGregor and why should I be listening to it? Right. Conor McGregor is, just so you know, Conor McGregor's just beat a guy called Jose Aldo. Okay, he was undefeated in the last 10 years, the only champion of that division in the UFC, which is the Ultimate Fighting Championship, which is mixed martial arts. And mixed martial arts is MMA, right? So what's happened is over the past 20 years, I'm not going to go into this too much because I know people listening are going to understand this, but over the past 25 years, we've had more evolution in martial arts than that happened in the past 2,000 years, right? So we found out what truly works in a combative nature. Now, these days, the people that are competing are truly world-class, not just martial artists, but athletes. And you've got to understand, these guys and girls now are the most fittest, explosive athletes in the world. And if you don't believe that, well, it's it's a difference of opinion, right? But it's, to me, it's absolutely true. Plus, besides the athleticism, it's also about they learning to be world class in like 5 different martial arts, from boxing, karate, Muay Thai, which is kickboxing, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, different types of wrestling, judo. All of these things are combined to create a mixed martial artist. And besides all of that game, guess what other game you got? Yeah, you've got mindset. So to be able to go through training camps, to be able to put it all together in those 25 minutes, under that pressure of watching millions of people watching you, that's something very special, right? So if a guy comes along in the very start of his career and says, I'm going to be the best fighter in the world, I'm going to be world champion, I'm going to be here in the UFC, this is how it's going to happen, and then you watch his journey over the years to get there, and then at the weekend, guess what? He did it. He knocked out the pound for pound, possibly the best fighter in the world. He knocked him out. By the way, he did it with one punch. It was in 13, or was it 13 seconds, 14 seconds? Yeah. So this is a big thing right now. And people, all the attention's gone to Conor. And Conor's funny. Conor's a crazy Irish guy, right? Crazy Irish guy, comes from Dublin. I know Dublin very well. I know Irish people very well. I've got some good Irish friends. And they are a little crazy. My blood is Irish too, right? Murphy, right? And so we can talk about epigenetics and genetics and belief systems, and we'll get into all that, but it's just awesome. So I'm going to start playing some clips, and I want you to just start to get to know Conor, because besides Conor thinking a certain way, he's also probably the best smack talker, that's ever been in any sport, really. He's pretty brilliant. And that was one of the things that he got inside the champion's, the old champion now, but the old champion's head. And it's really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. So let's start at the beginning, because what was also interested in recently in the post-fight press conference, Conor was talking about the law of attraction. And that's what's blowing up all over the internet right now. And that's law of attraction. Yeah, whatever your belief is. Yeah, it's, for me, it's real, but it goes way more deeper than that. It goes to quantum physics, if you want to go there, but it also goes to neurological patterning. It goes to your filter system in your brain. It goes to building mind muscle. And whether you come from whatever angle, doesn't really matter. What's the result? The result is, well, he got what he wanted. And that's what we want to show you today, because if you can apply this mindset into your business and this drive, commitment, and passion, you can be very world class too. So let's jump into this.
And where do you live?
My name is Conor McGregor, and I live in Lucan.
And what's your status, or what's your professionalism?
I'm a professional MMA fighter with a record of 4-1. I'm an up-and-coming fighter, and without a doubt, you will see me on the UFC in the near future, without a doubt.
Now, just so you know, crew, this little interview that we're going through now is from 2008. So just keep that in mind, right? 2008. So it's going back a while now.
How long have you been fighting?
Well, I've been boxing pretty much all my life. I started MMA around 2 or 3 years ago, and about 2 years ago, I'd say, and I instantly had a knack for it, and I really, really, really loved it. It's like an addiction for me. It's all I do. I train twice a day. It's all I think about. I don't want to do anything else. It's as simple as that.
So, crew, did you hear what Conor just said? Right? He said this is all he loves to do. It's all he wants to do. It's like an addiction because he loves it so much, right? He trains twice a day. So my question to you, with what your business and your life right now, are you doing that? Are you applying that type of commitment? Are you applying that type of the love to what you're doing? Maybe you are, right? So I also want you to pay attention in this next little clip that when the interviewer asks him how's something different, and he's like, I don't know what's different. But then the interviewer goes, what do you want? What's your vision? And he's so clear, right? So again, are you very clear on your vision? Let's look at this.
Fighting as a boxing career, how do you think that differs from any other type of career?
Well, As in MMA, like how's it different from MMA?
How does it different from, let's say, your regular 9 to 5? As in, not well, obviously the obvious reasons, but how does it differ from your perspective?
Oh, well, that's a really hard question, isn't it?
Well, statistically.
How does it differ? Jesus. Well, it differs. I don't know. Like,
did you ever have what did you work as before you?
I was a plumber. I was an apprentice plumber. I did a year in that, and it just wasn't for me. You know, it's either all or nothing in the game I'm in. You have to. If you're not training twice a day, if you're not dedicated, you're not going to go anywhere. So I felt I had enough talent, and enough dedication, enough love for the sport that it was time to pack up my job and chase my dream, and that's what I'm doing, and that's pretty much it.
And what is your dream?
My dream is to be world lightweight champion in the UFC, have more money than I know what to do with, and have a great life for my kids, my grandkids, everyone in my family, everyone that's come up with me. That's my dream. My dream is to be number one, pretty much. My goal is number one MMA.
So let's break that down just a little bit. I want you to hear and pay attention to his tonality when he says it. When he says it, it's not coming from a place of arrogance. It's not coming from a place of fear. It's not coming from a place of, I'm not sure, but I hope. No, it's coming from a place of knowing. It's coming from a place from his heart, if you want to go there. He knows that vision. Why does he know that vision? Because he's played it in his head probably 100,000 times. So those neural nets are big, thick, and deep, right? So instead of before what probably most people are doing in the world, right? Which maybe this is you, maybe it's not. But when you start to think about the future, right? And it starts to become bigger and brighter, what's generally the emotion that you're generating towards it, right? Well, is it confidence or calmness and belief and knowing? Or is it pressure and anxiety and stress and maybe fear? Do you see the difference? One's creating wiring towards what you want with excitement and confidence, and the other one's creating wiring towards that vision with a completely different emotion. That emotion is either going to drive you forwards and pull you to what you want, or it's going to create overwhelm and hold you back. So again, understand where he's coming from, because he's coming from 2008 where, you know, you said before, a couple of years before, he was a plumber, right? And then he believed in his vision. He believed in himself. He knew he had talent. He knew, and you can hear that in his voice. He's congruent even at that stage. And that's what you got to catch, the patterns inside of you and double check, right? If the vision is too big and it's creating overwhelm for you, it might also be the reason that you're not driving forwards. So I want you to really catch that pattern and start to feel a certain way and then take that feeling into the future. So every time you think about the future, I want that excitement and confidence with you. Make sense? I hope so. Let's keep going.
What would it mean to you to live your dream and fight in the UFC?
Words can't even describe that. I'm training so hard, and my game is coming along. I will be where I want to be. I'm 100% confident that I will make it to the top. I have the skills, I have the dedication, and it's something I really, really want. So words can't even describe, but it will happen, and I'll let you know when it happens.
So now you're getting to know a little bit about Conor, his mindset, is where he started from. Let's have a look at the showmanship side of Conor, because that's really what's made him so successful so fast and got him attention, and then he backed it up. And that's what I want you to understand with anything. I knew, not talking about myself, I'm not comparing myself to Conor at all, but I knew after New Zealand, after working on a project to build a $100 million resort, bankruptcy, all the rest of it, I knew right then in that moment, that wasn't me. It was just where I was. And I knew that in my head, the belief system I had to create was I was world class. So I told everyone, even back in the day before anyone knew me, I was world class. And I believed that. It was just I didn't have the skills yet to back that up. And then what did I do? Just like Conor, worked my ass off more than everyone else around me to become world class. And now, hey, I'm recognized as one of the top NLP practitioners and coaches in the world. So this is the same thing. So let's have a look at Conor's showmanship, right? Oh, and just pay attention to when you hear the announcer go, "It's time," right? That's Bruce Buffer. By the way, Bruce Buffer was on my podcast as the 100th episode. So if you know Bruce and you love the UFC and you haven't heard that episode, well, Bruce Buffer's on there, number 100. So go and check that out also.
Come on. There is only one.
This is the main event of the evening.
My name is Conor McGregor and I'm a professional MMA fighter. That's all I think about. I don't want to do anything else. It's as simple as that. I felt I had enough talent and enough dedication, enough love for the sport that it was time to pack up my job and chase my dream, and that's what I'm doing. My dream is to be world champion in the UFC, have more money than I know what to do with. But you will see me on the UFC in the near future, without a doubt. Words can't even describe, but it will happen, and I'll let you know when it happens.
He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, fighting out of Dublin, Ireland, the notorious Conor McGregor!
Look at that uppercut. He can find your chin from anywhere.
Wow! Ultra impressive UFC debut!
Max looks a little bewildered there. He's telling him to hit him. Max is in all sorts of trouble here.
There's two things I really like to do, and that's whoop ass and look good.
He's gonna hit the canvas hard.
I think he's a clown.
He won't get out of the first round.
Dustin thinks it's all talk, but when he wakes up with his nose plastered on the other side of his face, he's gonna know it's not all talk.
Conor McGregor is for real.
I said I'd knock him out in the first round, and I knocked him out in the first round. You can call me Mystic Mac, because I predict these things.
Looking to finish the fight. It is over. Just like that.
An entire country is standing on their feet right now.
Okay, crew, so you're getting the idea of who Conor is again now. You know, he's a showman. He was also got famous because he predicted the round that he was going to beat people in, which he talks about a little bit in a second. But what I want you to take away from this next clip is people say there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance. Now, is there? Well, in my opinion, no. In my opinion, they're two totally different ends of the spectrum. You've got one side, which is arrogance, and that comes from insecurity. It comes from fear. It comes from trying to bling and project yourself out to the world, really, because you're so insecure. The other side, the flip side, the 180 view, comes from confidence. And confidence comes from knowing. It comes from preparation. It comes from being humble. It comes from knowing how good you are and the work that you've put in to achieve. And that's what one of the things I want you to take away from this next clip with Conor is that you see all this in your face stuff, but really, is that just clever business? Because this was the same with Mayweather, right? I saw an interview with Mayweather a X amount of years ago where he suddenly decided to create this brand, the money brand, right? Well, before that, he was just a boxer, and then he gives it, I'm actually good at this. I can turn this into something that people are going to get behind. And that was where the money brand came from. And that's just clever business. So you've got to start to look, is Conor just marketing? Well, yes, it absolutely is. That's what all the trash talk is about. It's marketing, it's hype. So then the other side of this is, what is he really like? Okay. And that's what I want to take you away with you for the next clip, because if you can apply this in your own business, understand this perspective, it's a game changer for you. So let's jump into this.
I have nothing but respect for these competitors. Make no mistake, I am cocky in prediction. I am confident in preparation, but I am always humble in victory or defeat. So I am humble here, and I am grateful for the opportunity that the UFC, Dana and Lorenzo.
It's always, like Lorenzo said, it's about going from here to here to here to here, and that's where I'm going. It's round in circles up. So it will continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger until I am finished.
And I'm climbing the money tree. I'm climbing the money tree like a chimpanzee. Just through years in the gym, through wins, through losses, through life, I just realized that if you say it to yourself and you look yourself in the eye and look yourself in the mirror and truly, truly believe that not a man alive can beat you, then that is the way it is. And just through hours in the gym and preparation, I feel that I am untouchable right now. It's an honor. Like, prize fighting is short. Get in, get rich, get out. But martial arts is a way of life. It's for life.
In this next clip, crew, you're going to see the business side of Conor. You know, you're getting to see all the little bits through these clips that I'm all putting together. By the way, these clips are from all over the place, and I'm chunking them together for you, right? It's taking me a long time, but I want to be able to show you how a world-class fighter does business, because if you can do business the same way, then it's a beautiful thing, right? And yes, he's coming over with ego and arrogance to some degree, but again, like I said before, is that just business? Well, I personally believe so, right? So the other side I want you to get from this, or the lesson I want you to get from this, is that it is just business. And things go right, things go wrong, right? But your emotional attachment to whether someone lets you down or pulls you off over there or rips you off becomes your choice. And that's the same with what Conor talks about in a moment. So let's jump back into this quick clip.
I am not angry. There is no emotion in this game. It is cold, calm, calculated, and ruthless. I feel no emotion towards him, good or bad.
He said, but it's beautiful. For me, I love this. I love proving people wrong and proving my support right. That's what it's about at the end of the day. You know, this is all fun and games to me. I love it. I love my job. I whoop people for truckloads of cash. How could I hate this life? I love it so much. I am grateful every single day. Thanks.
I'm enjoying the fruits of my hard work. Nobody works harder than me inside the octagon, outside the octagon. I am a workhorse, so I'm going to enjoy the benefits of this life. I'm going to get myself a big mansion in Las Vegas. I'm going to get the soft top cars. I'm going to bring my whole team out. I'm going to spoil them and give them this life. Big steaks that size. We're eating every single night each. We're eating good. We're living good. It's human nature. Some people will sit and take positivity from that. They will look at that and take inspiration and inspire. It will inspire them to go and push for that. Others will shell up and critique it and be negative towards it. But one thing is for sure, those people will stay where they are. The people who take inspiration from it will rise up and also one day experience that life. So this is human nature. Some go one way, some go the other way. But I am enjoying my money, my hard-earned money that I have dedicated my life to.
So, crew, did you hear what Conor said? Some of the things, he said a lot of good stuff there, right? Pretty cool, right? He's a cool guy. But one of the things he said there was, it's not just about him, right? I sometimes find it very difficult to, over the years of actually creating business and money and everything for me. But when I got other external things around me, like family or friends or partners that I really want to build a life with, then that creates a completely different momentum. In my head, when I think about the future, it is about helping charity. It is about helping over 100,000 entrepreneurs create their dreams. It is about building these systems and being a philanthropist and meeting all of these people. So it creates a different experience. I'm not just doing it for me. I'm doing it to help everyone around me. And that's what you hear through Conor. And the other thing is you got to understand he's Celtic, right? What does Celtic mean? Well, he's Irish, right? He's got the Irish blood. And it's a small nation, but like New Zealand, when I lived in New Zealand, it's a very proud nation. And they're also very good at certain things. And so when Conor's out there fighting or training, what's the motivation in his head? Is he doing this to go, oh, look at me, I'm awesome? No. He's doing it for a couple of different reasons. One, to stick the finger up, like fuck you, to anybody who didn't believe. And it's kind of a motivation. I actually talk about that motivation in the Ronda Rousey podcast, which is 106. That's spite motivation. Not a long-term strategy, but definitely something that gives you a kick in the ass and gets you moving, right? So the other thing is, yes, for friends and family, but also the nation. It's about bringing Ireland and all the fighters and the people and the culture over to the world. And that's what he's doing it for. In his head, he thinks he's leading a tribe. He's like the king of Ireland, right? Not in an arrogant way. Or maybe in a little bit of an arrogant way. But it's really about that's a different motivation. So when someone hits you on the chin, and that's also life, what you're going to do? You're going to lay down or you're going to step up and keep moving forwards. The thing is, everybody, you need to understand that life is always going to throw crap at you. It's always going to do it. It's always going to test you. It's always going to challenge you. There's always going to be lessons to learn, whether you're talking about the universe or whatever it is, right? It's always the same, right? So this brings us to my next clip. And I think you're going to love this one because we're getting close right now to the fight. And that's where all this leads up to. Do you see how I've taken you on a little journey through this? Absolutely. And I want to this is just before the fight. So you're going to hear him talk about Jose Aldo and the fight. And then we're going to go into the post-fight press conference where he talks about the law of attraction. And I'll break that down into some NLP stuff for you. So let's keep going, eh?
But either way, he'll be in a panic. I believe the very first exchange, he will be hurt, and he will be hurt badly. He won't know. He won't have felt that power before. He won't have felt that smoothness before, that clinical precision before. I don't miss, and I visualize him being there every single shot I throw. Him being right there. So first exchange, he's definitely on one knee. He's definitely wobbled badly. Then I believe he'll be on the back foot. Then I believe I will play with him.
Because I am, make no mistake, I'm setting up to be the greatest of all time. I am working towards it, and I will go down as the greatest of all time.
No one, but at the end of the day, business is business. It's never personal. It can be cruel, it can be ruthless, but it is never personal.
I definitely I'm in his head. I'm not only his head, I believe I'm in everybody's head at the minute, you know, so it's perfect. I'm just a little Irish crazy kid that doesn't give a shit what none of these guys think, and I'm just here handling my own business.
Jim, on the final day, I shook his hand. I'm not trying to scare him. I cannot scare him anymore. He's scared to death. I want to cuddle him and tell him that it's going to be okay and shake his hand and say, listen, show up, man up, and let's fight. Stop being a pussy. It will be over soon, and you'll be back to your normal life with your wife and your kids and the life you want. But don't worry, it will be over soon. So.
And it was, crew. 14 seconds of the first round. First punch was thrown. Conor timed it perfectly. Now, lots of people out there going, oh, that sucked. We won in 5 rounds of fighting. No, that's beautiful execution, right? And that's what you should be looking at inside of your business, because it's about systems. It's about delivering a result. That's what people pay for. They pay for the result. They're not paying for your hourly coaching or your whatever it is that you're up to. They're not paying for that. They're paying for a result. If somebody wanted to lose 100 pounds and you could give them an injection and it was healthy and they could lose 100 pounds, how much would that injection be worth, right? So if you can give someone a specific result and you're confident about it, then that's it. That's all you have to do. And people will pay massive amounts of money for that result. Just like what Conor did, right? Did he want to fight a five round fight, or did he just want to get the job done? Right? Makes sense. So where in your business right now can you create a new system? Where can you create laser focus? Where can you step up and be confident enough to deliver an outlandish claim that you know inside of you that you can back up? Think about that, right? So let's go to the last portion of today's podcast. Hey, you're doing well. If you're still listening, then you're awesome, right? Because this means that you're going to really step up. It also means that you're world class. It also means that you have all the potential in the world. And so I want you to start applying this belief system inside of yourself, because anything less than stepping up now and being full of confidence, anything less than that doesn't matter anymore, does it? Because it's only about the future, and the future is yours to create. Listen, everything that's happened to you in your life has led you up to where you are now. The decisions, the mistakes, the lessons, the perspectives, all of that, right? What you do next is going to create the future. And that's why I wanted to take you on this journey through Conor, because now we head into, you knocked the guy out. You became the world champion. And I want you to see the process of how he thinks about the fight after the fight, where he lets you into it all. So let's jump into that now. I know you're going to love this bit, and then I'll break it down a little bit for you.
How are you, sir?
How are you?
Good. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I was asking you on Thursday about his right hand.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what you told me?
I said his right hand would get him into trouble. It's the shot I predicted. I said he'd overload on his right hand. I said I'd slip. I said I'd bang the left hook. And that's what happened.
Word for word, you said, I felt when we stared down, I felt his right hand was twitching, which was a subtle tell for me. He is ready to unload that right hand, and I feel that could be a downfall for him. If he lets that right hand go, I will not be there. I simply enter the way I enter, and that is enough. They either overextend or they shrink away, but either way, it is not good for them. I will create traps and dead space inside that octagon, and I will walk him into that dead space, but all of a sudden, he will be in danger. How do you do that? How do you predict these
if
things?
you can see it here, and you have the courage enough to speak it, it will happen. So I see these shots, I see these sequences, and I don't shy away from them. A lot of times people believe in certain things, but they keep to themselves. They don't put it out there. If you truly believe in it, if you become vocal with it, you are creating that law of attraction, and it will become reality. I knew he would overextend, and I knew I'd catch him. So Mystic Mac strikes again.
So, crew, you get it? You get it? This isn't about fighting, right? It's not about business. It's about building your mindset by design. If we rewound the episode right back to the start, what was the first clip I played you? Hi, I'm Conor McGregor. It's 2008, and I'm going to be world champion. Hey, look, I can use that accent because I got Irish blood, right? So understand that. It's a process. It's a journey. And what did he say before? It's like you go here to here to here to here, and you go in circles, and each circle is leading you upwards. It's like an upward spiral. And that's what I want you to understand about your business, your life, everything. It starts by building the muscle that you want, right? That's what Mindset by Design is about. It's about building the muscles, the mental muscles that you want, the beliefs that you want, because you got to understand, from a neurological aspect, what he was doing back in the day, he was creating the vision, right? So what that did was that pointed the unconscious mind to a very specific place. The unconscious mind wants to know the outcome. The journey, well, that's the how. How you get there can change. It can go up, down. It can take longer, shorter. That's irrelevant. The point is his vision, which means those neural nets will become deeper and thick, because we all know that the neural nets are like a muscle, right? So that muscle of him thinking about the future and who he is in it is so deeply ingrained in his unconscious mind and therefore nervous system that every single time he thinks about it, that belief flows towards it. So that creates daily motivation, daily action. It makes him push through pain that he didn't think he could. And how does he do that? Well, you see how much of an expert Conor is at being articulate and actually communicating this image inside of his head. So understand that's also sales, right? Everything that you've heard about what him speaking before the fight, after the fight, whatever, it's sales. Understand, sales is about communication. It's about being able to paint a picture inside someone else's head of what you can think, feel, and act, what your beliefs are, what the vision is inside of you. And if you can do that for a client, it's a game changer. If you can take Conor's concepts about drive and the network and being authentic in his belief systems and use that to connect to that bigger vision, it will get you there. If you then put the absolute work in, like twice a day, every day, right? Like Conor was training, but for you as an entrepreneur, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's not going to stop. So you either embrace it or you resist it. But that expansion is always going to happen for you, right? So what did Conor do? He stepped into it. He owned it. And by owning it, it creates commitment. And that commitment creates confidence. And that confidence builds excitement. Or you don't. You resist it, which creates anxiety, pressure, fear, because you're always pushing away what the natural flow of the universe is leading you towards. Does that make sense? So what he did at the start, he also started to adjust his filter system inside his brain, where his beliefs and attitudes, language and values are. And so as he built this new neural net, this new ways of thinking, feeling and acting, this filter system adjusted to it. And when that filter system is connected to exactly what you want with the right thoughts and feelings, it allows that reality to come in. That's straight neuroscience. It's not me. That's straight neuroscience. So what Conor's talking about is the universal law of attraction. And whether it's real or not, there's a lot of different universal laws. And one of them is gravity, but also another one is the law of attraction. What we focus on grows, right? It's that simple. Where we focus on, energy flows, right? So whether we're talking about quantum physics and we're directing energy or electromagnetism towards a collective group of atoms that we're completely made up of, which is creating our reality, or we look at you're pulling or attracting what your dominant focus is. Whatever it is, right? From an NLP point of view, it's you're building mind muscles, you're building these neurological patterns, you're attaching your filter system, which changes your reality. Wherever you're coming from, does it really matter? What's the result you're getting by doing what you're doing? And with Conor, understand that he's come over such a massive, he's only been fighting in the UFC for a couple of years. Yet suddenly he's the best and the most well-known fighter besides Ronda Rousey in the world right now, right? And I'm sure he's out earning her after the last fight and then the rematch, right? So I want you to understand what Conor's talking about from the very first clip I showed you right up to this where he's won the belt. It's a journey. And it's a journey that most people will never survive. It's a journey that most people will never commit to even doing, right? They'll put their toes in. Oh yeah, I tried a business. It didn't work out. I'll just go and get another job. Or I tried this. What's that got to do with anything? Life is going to throw shots on you. It's your choice whether to stand back up or lay down. So understand there's been so many moments in my life that I've been in such a mess, but I knew inside of me it was just where I was. It's not who I was, and it's not the vision for what my life was going to be like. And now, as I say, over the last 13 years, I've been on this roller coaster, and martial arts has been the underlining thing that has kept me built the foundation. It's been the underlining thing that gives me expression. It's been the underlining thing that I love so much. And when people like Conor come along in this world, it's designed, to me, from the universe, whatever you want to call it, it's a mirror. And that mirror is designed to reflect on you and show you what's possible. Like one of the things Conor said, right, is people are going to look at Conor and go, oh, whatever, what an idiot, he's got a lucky punch. Or they go, you know what? That guy's on point, and he built this empire in such a small amount of time. I can do it too. And that's my motivation for next year. That's my motivation for this today. That's my motivation for tomorrow. And I want it to be your motivation too. So there you go, crew. That's the end of episode 111. And hope you enjoyed it. Hope you go back to listen to Ronda Rousey's on a 106. Hope you go back to listen to Bruce Buffer's on episode 100. You can check Elon Musk out on 98. At the end of the day, guys, and when I say guys, I mean girls too. You know me by now. This is your life. There's nearly 8 billion people in the world. Why do you think that anybody's going to give you anything? Nobody's going to help you the way you think that you should be helped. You know why? Because life's tough. Life's hard. It is. And you know what? I'm so glad it is. I'm so glad it is. People, when I say that, people are like, what? I'm glad it is. You know why I'm glad? Because we get what we deserve. And I work my ass off, and I know you do too. And I know people like Conor does. So we get what we deserve. If you're building the muscle, your mind muscle, and you're pushing forwards, and you're understanding that life is always going to throw crap, but that has nothing to do with you getting the result that you want. Who cares, right? It's got nothing to do with it. So for you stepping up right today, everything will change tomorrow. Okay, crew? I'm going to leave it there. So if you want to step up now and you want to take momentum, then hit those show notes, find out what level you're playing at, whether it's just a free training, go to Mindset by Design, click on that link and get that training. If you want to step up and really put yourself around world-class people and learn these techniques and tools that I teach to VIP clients, then guess what? That's the academy. That's the middle one. If you want to play full out like Conor, right? If you want to play full out like that, then come and have a chat with me personally for 45 minutes, and I'll show you exactly what's playing in your head right now, your sabotage patterns, and how to move forwards in your business and your life. So hit those show notes up, crew. Go and share this with someone. By the way, if you haven't wrote me a review on iTunes, can you do that? If you haven't been to the website, can you do that? If you're not connected with me on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, can you do that too? That would be appreciated. Until then, until the next time, crew, you have an amazing day, an amazing week, and I'll speak to you on the next episode. Oh yeah, one more thing. Why don't you smile for me?
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of the Mindset by Design podcast with your host and NLP expert, Andy Murphy. We'll catch you next time.